The world is full of beautiful places, landscapes, buildings, and features. Many of these icons tell a story that provides a glimpse of the past and where we came from, and even more interestingly, where we're headed. Everyone has a responsibility to look after these treasures, yet there are organizations established for the sole purpose of preserving and protecting our icons. The National Park Service is one such organization. The National Park Service is responsible for managing some of the most beautiful, inspirational, and historic features in the world. Established in 1916, the National Park Service began its journey by overseeing 14 national parks, 21 national monuments, Hot Springs Reservation, and Casa Grande Ruin. Today, the National Park Service operates and manages over 400 individual park units, many of which attract global attention. Recognizing the diverse sites that are in the National Park Service portfolio, you can imagine that each park site manages singularly unique features. For example, imagine the differences found at the Wrangell St. Elias National Park and Preserve in Alaska, which is the largest park site at 13.2 million acres, and the smallest park site, Thaddeus Kosciuszko National Memorial in Pennsylvania, which is only 0.02 acres. With each unique park site, there are unique assets. These assets range from a backcountry cabin to a historic battlefield and everything in between. To name just a few examples of unique assets, the National Park Service manages seashores, rivers, monuments, archaeological sites, fortifications, roads, trails, ruins, bunkhouses, and bridges. Additionally, the National Park Service receives assets that sometimes are not considered a primary resource or a significant contributing element. But these assets will still need to be prioritized within each park unit. Unfortunately, the National Park Service does not have enough resources to take care of all of them as well as they would like. It is becoming exceedingly difficult to stretch the dollars and maintain everything. In fact, the cost of deferred maintenance, which is maintenance that was not performed when it should have been or when it was scheduled, is over 4 times larger than the entire National Park Service budget. This means that the current appropriation would need to be increased by 4 times to bring all of the assets within the portfolio into good condition. Clearly, this is not an option. So, what's the best use of the resources the National Park Service receives? Is it to put inadequate resources towards everything, or a lot of resources towards some things? Historically, the National Park Service attempted the former. That is, they tried to take care of all assets equally. This process performed adequately for a while, but it was soon apparent that this was not a sustainable model. After all, is it worth watching everything degrade altogether? The National Park Service responded with a resounding no. So in 2010, the National Park Service started to re-examine how they could best manage their asset portfolio, given their available resources. After many discussions, the National Park Service developed a new approach that would alter how parks would manage their assets. They called this philosophy the Capital Investment Strategy. The Capital Investment Strategy prioritizes the importance of and categorizes the financial sustainability of assets. Specifically, it helps implement 2 goals from a call to action. Invest wisely, focus investments from all maintenance fund sources on high-priority national park assets to address critical deferred maintenance and code compliance needs. Park Pulse. Assess the overall status of park resources and use this information to improve park priority setting and communicate complex park condition information to the public in a clear and simple way. So how does the Capital Investment Strategy work? The Capital Investment Strategy is a process that leverages asset management tools, such as the Asset Priority Index, Facility Condition Index, Park Asset Management Plans, and the Facility Management Software System with operational and project funding as it relates to lifecycle management. Namely, the Capital Investment Strategy facilitates the allocation of resources and funding to the highest priority assets and identifies how resources are assigned to maintain them. The Capital Investment Strategy is designed to promote the following mission goals: financial sustainability, resource protection, visitor use, and health and safety. So why is the National Park Service implementing this strategy? The National Park Service uses an asset management process based on facility management industry standards. By prioritizing maintenance based on the National Park Service mission and the park's enabling legislation and high-priority operational needs, a park can determine which assets should be retained and at what level. For example, what if equal attention were given to a non-priority asset and a high-priority asset? Remember, historically the National Park Service took this approach. However, now that an asset is identified as high priority, what will happen if more attention is given to it than to a non-priority asset? As you can see, one asset will be maintained at a higher level than the other. So what is the capital investment strategy end result? First, over time, there will be lower deferred maintenance on high-priority assets. This means that assets that are mission-critical and are operationally important will become increasingly in better condition. Additionally, they will be maintained in a better condition because of increased resources and funding allocated to operational, preventative, and recurring maintenance needs. Second, the National Park Service portfolio will be more manageable. There will be difficult decisions. However, the capital investment strategy will outline and document the process for the park to make decisions regarding how to move forward with limited resources. Lower priority assets will deteriorate and may be disposed of. Third, the capital investment strategy will protect and preserve the assets that are contributing elements to the mission of each park within the National Park Service. As unique entities within a larger system, each park has distinctive features specific to their park's operation, and they should be kept available to park visitors. After all, the mission of the National Park Service includes preserving unimpaired the natural and cultural resources and values of the National Park Service for the enjoyment, education, and inspiration of this and future generations. So, it's time to act on our promise to our taxpayers, stakeholders, neighbors, and all those who visit our park system every day. Remember the emblem that signifies our duty: the vegetation and wildlife represented by the sequoia tree and bison, the recreational values represented by the mountains and water, and the historical and archaeological values represented by the arrowhead. Together, with a common strategy and goal in mind, we will fulfill our promise for many generations to come.